you've been working for Zach Johnson for a number of years now. What year did you start working for Zach?
2004.
Can I ask you how that job came about?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. We used to play golf in the off seasons here, have little gambling games all around, and one day Zach showed up, and me and my caddy, Doug, who caddies for me now, we used to play anybody that wanted to come in town, you know. So Zach shows up, and we go, yeah, we'll play you two, you know, $10 Nassau or whatever, and me and my caddy, you know, whooped them that day pretty good, and so we were sitting around, you know, just chatting, and I'd heard he had got his Nike Tour or Nationwide Tour card back then, and I said, you know, you play well out there, go kick some booty, and that year he went out and he finished #1 on the money list, and
On the Nationwide Tour.
And I saw him in a club repair shop the next off season. I said, congratulations, Zach, that was awesome play. I said, you know, I think it's important for you to have an experienced caddy. If there's any way I can help you, I've got some friends that, you know, if their player didn't keep their card, and I'd love for you to hook up with them. And he looked at me and he says, you're #1 on my list. I'm going, what? I said, I caddy for Scott Hoch, a human ATM machine. I'm not going anywhere. And he looked at me and says, well, if you change your mind, let me know.
Okay.
I'm going, really?
Wow. He was highly touted too. That kid was a good player, man. I remember him coming to Bell South one year. I don't know if he got an exemption or something, but he was hot stuff. Everybody knew he was going to be great.
He four-putted the last hole, I think, to miss a top 10 that year.
At Bell South?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just came home and I'm going, dang, this Zach Johnson, he's like cocky. I said, I better check out his stats. So I went on the computer, and he was like #1 in every category possible, you know, except for driving distance. And I talked with Joy, and I said, you know, we might need to consider doing this.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're leaving Scott Hoch for a rookie? And I said, well, I might. I said, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And the more I studied it, and the more I felt like I needed to make a change. And, you know, you'd hate to have a great player slip through your fingers to have a chance to caddy for it. Yeah. And, you know, I'm kind of a gambler, so I said, I think we're going to do it.
Took your chance.
And
how long had you worked for Scott at that time?
4 years. 4 years, yeah. So now I called up Zach, and I said, all right, Zach, I'll do it. And, you know, he's like, great. So now I've got to go fire Scott Hoch. I've never fired anybody in my life.
You're not firing anybody, just making a change.
Yeah, well, you know. So I've got to call him up and say, what are you doing, Scotty? I said, I want to come see you. And we live in the same town. I used to never see him in the off season hardly, because, you know, it's like a marriage.
Right.
When it's off season, you need a break. Yeah. So you're around each other so much. So I go over to his house, and he's hitting balls that day at Bay Hill. That's what it was. He was hitting balls. So I said, I'll come out and watch you hit some balls.
And again, this is during the off season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drive out to Bay Hill, and, you know, we're sitting around jibber jabber, and I'm trying to get up enough nerve to tell him what I'm doing. And about 3 carts full of golfers come up and start watching him hit balls and asking questions and all that. So I didn't feel it was an appropriate time to. So I said, all right, Scott, I'm leaving. What are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. I said, all right, I'll come by the house. And I've never seen the guy, you know. So the next day I go by his house, and we're sitting around jibber jabbering again, and the phone rings, and his wife goes to answer the phone, and he goes, don't answer the phone while Damon's here. That's rude. And Sally goes, he won't mind. He's part of the family. So I go, all right, Scott, I'll see you later. You can't do it after that comment.
Right, sure.
So I said, I'll come by and see you tomorrow. So now this is 3 days in a row. I'm surely he's got to think something's up. So I finally get there the next day, and it's just he and I finally at the house. So I said, Scott, I need to talk to you about something. I said, I need to get your opinion on what I should do. I've had this rookie on the tour, won the Nationwide Tour money list last year, asked me to caddy for him, and, you know, what do you think I should do? I'm like putting it on his plate.
Right.
And he goes, well, I wouldn't do it. A lot of those guys come out and they're flops.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I think I need to do it.
I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, I think I need to do it. And he's like, well, you mean what, it's like a basketball team? It's out with the old and in with the new? And I'm going, yeah, basically. That's kind of what it is. And I said, I still want to caddy for you at the Mercedes
Right.
in Sony, and then I'll go to work for him the next time. And I thought it has cleared up, and I thought it was pretty clear what was happening. And I go to, later on, a month or two later, I go to Mercedes, and I'd been talking to Kenny Perry's caddy, Freddie, about it just to get some advice. And Kenny Perry walks around the corner, he says, I thought you and Scott Hoch broke up. And I said, well, we did. We've got 2 tournaments, and then I'm going to work for Zach. He says, well, you don't know nothing about it. And I'm going, what? So 5 minutes later, Scott Hoch comes up, and he says, did we break up? And I said, yeah, Scott. Don't you remember? I came to your house. It was out with the old and in with the new. And he goes, I must be a dunce because I have no clue. And I said, yeah, I'm going to go start working for Zach at the Bob Hope. And he said, well, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have brought you to Hawaii. I'm sorry, and then it was the hardest thing I ever had to do,
Yeah.
It was before Trump came out, you just say you're fired.
Yeah.
If that show would have been out, maybe I could have done it easier.
Yeah. How did he take it all in all? Was he
well,
supportive,
now, I've caddied for him some now on the Champions Tour. I've caddied 3 or 4 times out there for him. So now he says it's the greatest decision by a caddy's ever made. Yeah. And but before that, I think it was, he was disappointed. We were good friends, and we had a good relationship. We won some tournaments together, and I probably didn't handle it the right way, and firing him or whatever you call it. But I wasn't very good at it.
I think it sounded okay. I mean,
yeah.
How else are you going to do it?
Well, he's a straightforward guy, so he'd probably just Scott him, changing players, and you're out or something. I don't know. He didn't need to be coddled, I guess.